Picture this. You walk into the bank, proudly making a deposit, thinking your money is safe and quietly growing. But here's the truth. It's not just sitting there. The bank instantly takes your money and uses it for its own purposes. Loans, investments, and profits you'll never see. Meanwhile, your savings lose value every day, thanks to inflation, fees, and interest rates designed to benefit them, not you. The financial system isn't built to make you rich. It's built to keep you dependent. In this video, we're breaking down 14 money secrets that banks don't want you to know. From how they really make money off your deposits to the tricks they use to keep you in debt. So pay close attention, because once you understand these secrets, you'll never look at your bank the same way again, and when you will hear about the 11th secret, you will be completely shocked, and you will understand why the banker always behaves kindly towards you. So leave a like, and let's start with secret number 1, which will already give you a good initial shock. Keeping money in a bank makes you poorer. Most people believe that putting money in a bank account is the safest and smartest way to grow wealth. You deposit your savings and expect them to increase slowly over time. Maybe you think the bank is paying you interest, so at least you are getting something. But here's the truth. The interest you get is almost nothing compared to the money you lose. Let's imagine you deposit $1,000 into a savings account. The bank promises you 0.5% interest. That means after a year you have earned $5. But inflation, which is the natural rise in prices every year, is around 3%. That means the true value of your $1,000 is shrinking by $30. You gained $5 but lost $30. You are already down $25 just by trusting the bank. Now scale this up. Imagine keeping $10,000 in the bank for 10 years. You might earn a couple $100 in interest, but inflation will eat away thousands of dollars worth of your purchasing power. Your money is safer under your mattress than in a savings account, because at least there it won't be eaten by inflation disguised as security. Banks want you to believe they are doing you a favour, but in reality they take your deposits and lend them out at much higher interest rates. You get 0.5%, while they charge someone else 20% on a credit card. Do you see who wins in this game? Secret number 2. Banks create money out of thin air. Most people believe that only the government can create money. They think the central bank prints it, and that's all. But here is the hidden truth. Every single bank in the country creates money legally, and they do it every day. Imagine this, you deposit $1,000 in your bank. That money should just sit there, right? Wrong. By law, the bank only needs to keep a small fraction of your deposit as reserves. The rest they can lend out. Let's say they keep 100 and lend out 900. But here's the trick. When you log into your account, you still see your $1,000 sitting there. At the same time, the person who borrowed the $900 sees that money in their account. Suddenly there are $1,900 in existence instead of $1,000. The bank just created $900 out of thin air. Multiply this by millions of deposits every single day, and you realise that banks are literally manufacturing money that never existed before. And of course, they charge interest on this money they invented. That means banks profit not just from your savings, but from the illusion of money itself. They don't want you to think about this too much, because if everyone understood how this worked, there would probably be a revolution before tomorrow morning. And there could be a revolution even after you hear the secret 8. Secret number 3. Credit cards are the bank's secret weapon. Do you have a credit card? Most people do. They are convenient. They allow you to buy things even when you don't have the cash. But credit cards are designed not to help you, but to trap you. Think about this. The average credit card interest rate is around 20%. That means if you owe $1,000 and cannot pay it off this month, next month your debt grows by $200. And if you only make the minimum payment, you will still be in debt for years. 70% of people with credit card debt admit they can't pay it off in full this year, and most will carry it for years. Some don't even know when they will finally pay it down. This is exactly what banks want. They don't make money when you pay your balance in full. They make money when you get stuck. Let's take a simple example. You buy a $500 television on your credit card. If you only pay the minimum every month, you could easily end up paying $700 or even $1,000 for that television. The bank wins, you lose. Credit cards are not free money. They are weapons carefully designed to look like a gift, but built to trap you in endless payments. Secret number 4, the richer you are, the less you pay. This one might make you angry. If you are struggling financially and ask for a loan, the bank will check your credit score and your income and probably give you a high interest rate. But if you are rich, they will give you the lowest rate possible, sometimes even lower than inflation. Take Mark Zuckerberg, for example. When he bought his $6 million home, he could have paid cash easily. But instead he took a mortgage with a rate of just a little over 1%. At the time, inflation was higher than that. So in reality, he was borrowing money for free. Meanwhile, if an ordinary worker asks for a mortgage, the bank might charge 4% or more. That's 4 times what the billionaire pays. The person who struggles gets punished with high costs. The person who doesn't need help gets rewarded with free money. Banks call this risk management. They argue that lending to a billionaire is safe, but lending to someone who lives paycheck to paycheck is risky. But the outcome is cruel. The poor pay more and stay poor. The rich pay less and get richer. Secret number 5. Debt is a tool for the wealthy. Most people fear debt. They think it is dangerous, and they are right if you misuse it. But the wealthy know a secret. Debt can actually make you richer if you know how to play the game. Here's how it works. Imagine you borrow $100,000 at a 2% interest rate to buy a house. Over the next year, home prices rise by 20% because of inflation. Now that house is worth $120,000. You sell it, you pay back the $100,000 plus $2,000 interest, and you walk away with an $18,000 profit. That is the power of using debt when inflation is on your side. Rich people borrow millions or even billions of dollars at low rates. Then they sit back and let inflation increase the value of the assets they bought. That is how the wealthy multiply money without lifting a finger. Meanwhile, the average person borrows money for a car or to cover bills. These are things that lose value over time. That is why debt crushes ordinary people, but builds fortunes for the rich. Banks understand this. That's why they happily lend to billionaires at almost 0%. Secret number 6. Banks help the rich avoid taxes. You often hear about billionaires who pay little or no taxes, but how is that possible? The answer lies in a system that banks quietly help maintain. Imagine you own billions in company shares like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. If you sell those shares to get cash, you must pay a huge tax bill, sometimes 20% or more. On $100 billion, that's $20 billion in taxes. No one wants to pay that. So what do they do instead? They walk into a bank and say, look, I have all these shares as collateral. Lend me $1 billion. The bank says yes gladly. They lend the money at 1% interest. Now the billionaire can buy yachts, private jets and mansions. They never sold their shares. They never paid taxes. It's a perfectly legal loophole, and banks are happy to provide it because they make money on the loan. Meanwhile, ordinary people like you and me don't get such offers. If we want money, we have to sell what we own and pay taxes immediately. This is why you see billionaires still taking out mortgages, even though they could pay cash. It's not because they need the loan, it's because it saves them from taxes and keeps their wealth growing quietly in the background. And maybe you might never become like them, but there is a way to get more money, and that is to take advantage of the YouTube opportunity, which is literally making every small channel that does things well explode, as I teach you in my free Telegram community with the link below. Secret number 7. Offshore accounts hide trillions. Have you ever wondered how much wealth is hidden in secret accounts? The number is shocking. Experts estimate more than $8 trillion are stashed away in tax havens around the world. That's 10% of global GDP hidden in places like Bermuda, the Cayman Islands and Switzerland. But this isn't just criminals hiding their money. These are the largest corporations and the wealthiest individuals on Earth. Companies like Apple and Google legally shift their profits to countries with 0% tax rates. They set up small offices that are nothing more than mailboxes. Then they claim that most of their income was earned there instead of in the countries where they actually sell their products. The result is billions of dollars in taxes avoided, all thanks to legal loopholes that banks and tax specialists help design. To put this in perspective, imagine you make $100 million in profit in the United States. Normally you should pay $21 million in taxes, but instead you create a company in Bermuda and license all your patents to it. Now you pretend you owe $70 million in fees to that Bermuda company. Suddenly your profit in the US looks like only $30 million. Your tax bill drops to just $6 million, and the $70 million sits offshore, tax-free. This is how trillions disappear into hidden corners of the world. Ordinary citizens pay their taxes without question. The wealthy quietly move money across borders with the help of banks. And if you didn't expect this, I'm sure you've never heard of Secret 12. Secret number 8. Your mortgage makes the bank rich, not you. Many people believe buying a house with a mortgage is the best financial decision of their lives. They think renting is just throwing money away while buying means building wealth. But the truth is not that simple. Let's take an example. You buy a $300,000 house with a 30-year mortgage at 4.5% interest. Your monthly payment looks manageable. But over 30 years, you don't just pay $300,000, you pay more than double. By the time you are finished, you may have paid close to $600,000. Half of that goes straight into the bank's pocket as interest. And it doesn't stop there. You also pay property taxes, insurance, and maintenance, replacing a roof, repainting, and fixing plumbing. Over decades, these costs add up to tens of thousands of dollars more. Meanwhile, the bank sits quietly collecting its guaranteed interest every month. Yes, your home may increase in value, but remember, housing markets can also crash, as they did in 2008. When that happens, banks still demand your payments. If you can't keep up, they take your home and sell it. They win either way. Mortgages are sold to you as a path to freedom. But for many, they are just chains that lock you into decades of payments, while banks profit every single month. Secret number 9. Hidden fees are everywhere. Have you ever noticed that no matter what you do with your bank account, somehow there are always fees? Maintenance fees, overdraft fees, transfer fees, ATM fees. Even when you think you are being careful, there is always some small charge slipping through. Banks have perfected the art of nickel and dimming their customers. One report estimated that banks in the United States alone collect over $30 billion a year just from overdraft fees. That's money taken from people who are already struggling to make ends meet. Think about it. You accidentally spend $10 more than what's in your account. Instead of rejecting the transaction, the bank approves it and then slaps you with a $35 overdraft fee. You just paid $35 for borrowing $10. That's an effective interest rate of 350%. And it doesn't end there. Some banks even charge inactivity fees if you don't use your account enough, or foreign transaction fees when you travel. All these hidden charges add up to billions for the banks. And most customers don't even notice because the amounts look small on paper. But for the bank, those small amounts multiplied across millions of people become rivers of profit. Secret number 10. The system is designed to keep you in debt. Have you ever wondered why interest rates on savings are so low, while interest rates on loans and credit cards are so high? The answer is simple. Banks don't want you saving money, they want you borrowing. The entire system is tilted this way. If you save, you earn less than 1%. If you borrow, you pay 10, 20, sometimes 30%. So the incentive is always to spend first and worry later. Look at student loans. Millions of young people start adult life already buried under tens of thousands of dollars of debt. The banks love this because it means decades of guaranteed interest payments. The same goes for car loans, payday loans, and personal loans. Debt has become a product banks sell to you every day, and once you're in debt, it is very hard to get out. Even bankruptcy doesn't erase certain kinds of debt like student loans. That means banks can keep you chained for life. This is why banks market credit cards and loans so aggressively, because debt is their goldmine. As long as you are stuck in it, you are their perfect customer. Secret number 11. Banks gamble with your money. When you deposit money, you probably think the bank keeps it safe. But banks don't just sit on your deposits. They invest them, sometimes in very risky ways. Remember the 2008 financial crisis? It happened because banks were packaging bad loans and selling them as if they were good. They gave high ratings to junk. When everything collapsed, millions lost their jobs, their homes, their savings. But the banks received government bailouts, and some executives even collected massive bonuses. This is the dark truth. Your money doesn't just sit in a vault, it goes into markets where banks chase higher profits. If their bets go wrong, the government often steps in to rescue them. But ordinary people are left to suffer the consequences. So when banks say they are safe, remember this. They are only as safe as the next financial gamble they make behind closed doors. Secret number 12. The poor pay more for the same things. Here's a strange fact. The less money you have, the more things cost you. Banks play a big role in this. Take credit. If you are rich, you borrow at 1 or 2%. If you are poor, you might pay 20% or more. Over a lifetime, that difference means you pay hundreds of thousands of extra dollars just to access the same opportunities. Even basic services cost more. Check cashing fees, prepaid debit card fees, payday loan fees. These are targeted at people who don't qualify for traditional banking. So the people who can least afford it end up paying the most. It's like a tax on poverty, a system that quietly drains the poor while giving discounts to the wealthy. And banks are at the centre of it. This is heartbreaking, isn't it? Don't you feel betrayed by the banks? Well, know that Secret 14 will be the hardest of all. Secret number 13. Banks don't want you financially educated. Have you ever noticed that schools rarely teach personal finance? Most people grow up knowing algebra and history, but have no idea how credit works or how to invest. Do you think that's an accident? Banks thrive when customers are confused. If you don't understand how interest compounds on debt, you are more likely to rack up balances. If you don't know about investment opportunities, you are more likely to leave your savings earning almost nothing in a bank account. Financial ignorance is profitable. That's why banks will spend millions on advertising credit cards, but almost nothing on teaching people how to manage money. They want you in the dark. They want you guessing. Because when you don't know the rules of the game, they win every time. Secret number 14. Banks rely on your trust. At the end of the day, the entire banking system is built on one fragile thing. Trust. You believe that your money is sitting in the bank and that you can withdraw it at any time. But if everyone tried to take their money out at once, the system would collapse overnight. This has happened before. They call it a bank run. Crowds of people rush to withdraw their savings, only to discover that the bank doesn't actually have the cash. Because remember, most of your money has already been loaned out or invested. The illusion works as long as people trust it. The moment that trust breaks, everything falls apart. That is why banks spend so much effort on looking solid, safe, and permanent. Marble floors, giant buildings, and friendly commercials. It's all to keep you believing. Because once you stop believing, the entire system trembles. So now you know. 14 money secrets that banks don't want you to know. From hidden fees to manufactured money to loopholes for the rich. These truths show that the system is not designed to make you wealthy. It is designed to make banks wealthy. Does this mean you should fear banks? Not necessarily. But it does mean you should open your eyes. Don't assume the bank is your friend. Don't assume they will make you rich. Understand the rules of the game, learn to play it for yourself. Because the banks will always keep secrets. But now at least you know a few of them. And knowledge is the first step toward freedom. And if you really want to have more knowledge about making money, remember that you have the best opportunity of your life in your hands with YouTube. Think about it. If you've made it this far in the video, it means what I'm explaining to you in my free Telegram community works, right? So join with the link below and let me know which of these secrets shocked you the most. Subscribe to this channel and see you soon. Just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for educational purposes only, and any results depend on your own decisions and actions.